remember Mrs. Stokes, Mrs. Delhi? She came about 3 weeks ago to inspect us. She had spoken to a few of you. So I was walking past the amphitheater and Alan stopped me and he asked me whether we could have a meeting. So I asked him what about, and he said I have a solution to bullying. And it was almost like I planted him there because there was an inspection. And he was being honest. He actually wanted a meeting because of the other solution for bullying. And every school has bullying issues. If you don't have bullying in a school, something's wrong. There will be bullying in every school. So I thought that was quite interesting. So I said, okay, let's set up a meeting. He actually invited me on Google. Alan and Lucas came to see me. And they suggested having a TBSC anti-bullying awareness week with a couple of ideas that we are using this week. One of the ideas was to bring ambassadors in to talk to you guys about bullying. And the other idea was on Wednesday and Thursday, when you come to school, you take a name, and you just have to be nice to that person. And it'll be a secondary student because obviously you can't interact with primary students. Is one second, Alan? And then on Friday, some of you already are blue on, but Friday is wear blue. Okay, so you wear blue on Friday to represent the TBSC anti-bullying awareness week. So that's the jeans, any blue t-shirt, not Chelsea obviously, and etc., etc. Okay, so Friday is blue day. Alan, do you want to say something?
You're going to get one paper in the morning and one at the end of the day, so you can put your face to the student that you get. There are going to be different color papers, like stage 1 it's blue and stage 2 it's red.
Right, guys, these papers we have to actually leave because we have a test. Give them a round of applause, please. So today we have the Canadian ambassador, Ben Roosevelt. He was secondary student, so there's this whole big Ben. So give him a round of applause.
School. It's important to our embassy. I think the Canadian Embassy played a role in the founding of this school 60-some years ago. We sponsored the construction of some of the rooms here. And that's because this is an important part of our community. This is, in some ways, the British school is a collective effort by many adults, teachers, parents, neighbors, embassies like mine, and also the British Embassy, of course, and I know you'll be meeting the British ambassador later on this week. But by many adults that come together and create a safe and secure and creative environment for each of you to develop into confident and competent individuals. And so I'm very proud to be part of that, and I've offered my help in any way that our embassy can to Mr. Patel. But there's a limit to what we as grown-ups can do. We can create a school like this, and we can offer the best education possible. But in this process of developing into competent, creative individuals, you yourselves play an important role as individuals, obviously taking your own responsibility. But you also form a community of students that exists among yourselves, and that we only have indirect access to, and often don't really know everything that's happening within the society of students themselves. And inside your community, there are good things that can happen and bad things too. Good things, you can form friendships, you can collaborate on projects, you can make music, you can learn together. But sometimes negative things happen inside a community of students. And bullying is one of those negative things, where those of you that may feel lacking self-confidence in yourselves, take it out on others. Or when people are repeatedly being teased for something in a way that produces their own self-confidence. This is something that happens, as Mr. Patel said, really in every school. It's just part of being children, part of growing up, and it's a fact of life. But it's not something that it's something I think that we can do something about. But it's something really that you, as students, need to do something about. It's not just about the bully and about the victim. It's about everyone else in the community, everyone else in the school, the other students that are watching what happens. And that's the main message that I wanted to bring to you today, that I think when you see someone getting bullied, don't just remain silent. Do something about it. Stand up and say, this is wrong. Because when you think about it from the victim's perspective, probably most people here have been bullied at some point. What hurts is not just the words that someone has said about you and the thought that maybe that one person doesn't like you. What really hurts is the silence of everyone else. And that nagging question that you had, that I wonder if everyone believes what that bully has said. And that's where it really becomes damaging. And where conversely it becomes really important to stand up and say, if you are that neutral observer, the third party, watching a bully and a victim interact, to stand up and say this is wrong. A few years ago in Canada, that's exactly what happened. In a province called Nova Scotia, which is in the east of my country, a boy who had repeatedly been teased for a whole year. I'm not sure if this is in Canada, it's not as normal, not as expected for boys to wear pink as it's associated with girls. And so this boy showed up one day wearing a pink shirt. We don't have uniforms in Canadian schools too, so that's why you can show up in whatever color you want. Anyway, he chose pink and he was really badly teased that day, badly bullied. But what was different about that day is that the other students that were with him stood up and said, this is wrong. You shouldn't be teased. You shouldn't be made fun of just because of what you wear. And they defended the boy who was getting bullied. They decided to do something more than just stand up to the bully. They decided to organize a campaign where everyone in the school, boys and girls, teachers and students, had to wear a pink shirt. And so every year now, in about 20 or 25 cities across Canada, children wear a pink shirt. It's called the Pink Shirt Campaign. And there's two important messages. The first is you should be allowed to wear whatever you want without being teased. But the second is that students have a collective responsibility to stop bullying. It's not just about the bullies and not just about the victims. It's about everyone who watches bullying happening, standing up and saying, this is wrong and it should stop. I was really encouraged when I heard that you were having an anti-bullying campaign here at this school as well. And I thought it was incredibly important that the initiative came from within your community, the community of students here at CDFC with Alan and Lucas. Because I think this is exactly the right thing. It's an important way to prevent that kind of negative dynamic within the student body. You'll be wearing blue instead of pink, the way that you commemorate your anti-bullying week. But I would encourage you all to participate enthusiastically with this campaign. When you have the name of the person that you have to treat nicely, really go out of your way, and you'll see that treating someone nicely has a really positive knock-on effect, with everyone treating each other much better. And will make each of you better members of this community, happier, more confident, and more confident. So I want to congratulate you on having the anti-bullying week, and wish you all the success this week. Thank you.
Questions? I'm happy to take questions about bullying, but also more generally about my job or about the relationship between Canada and Venezuela, if you want to learn more about what a diplomat is. Yeah, did you have a question? No. Just describe it. I will try. Good question. Just to clear that up, it's just describe it. Maybe next time we can do it. Oliver.
How long have you been the Canadian ambassador?
I've been the ambassador for 1 year. This is my 1 year anniversary.
Questions? I think it's important to say, guys, in secondary, especially as you get older, we have a perception that this isn't important. No, it doesn't happen, and if it happens, just deal with it. You don't just tell the guy to be quiet, just, cope with it. That's not true. A 15-year-old last Wednesday died in England because of cyberbullying. She committed suicide. That's in England. We do this every other week in England. We talk about bullying in schools. So just so you know, this is not something that is just primarily on the younger students. This can happen as you get older. You've seen the news. Felipe, you better be listening. Sit forward, both of you. Okay, this happens as you get older, and it's a bit more subtle, I think. And remember, there's two types of ways of affecting someone. There's the daily, ongoing bothering, which isn't bullying. So if someone bothers you once or twice, that's not bullying. But if they keep doing it and you're affected, that could be physical, hopefully not in this school. It could be emotional. Again, hopefully not in this school, but it's more likely to be emotional than physical. Spiritual and cyberbullying is the big one. And if you're being bullied outside of school, we'll deal with it in school as well. When it comes to cyberbullying, it's on our policy. The one that you signed at the start of the year, the ICT policy, it does say any cyberbullying incidents outside of school, the school will deal with inside. Just so you know. Okay, so it's not something to be taken lightly. If you see other people bothering someone repeatedly that you might be bullying, you need to tell somebody. Tell Mr. Bolton, tell your tutors. Okay, any questions?
I had a lot of questions from the junior kids. Someone must have a question.
Not bullying question, I'm just curious, have any additional restrictions been placed on the Canadian embassy that are so much going on with the American embassy?
No, thankfully we haven't been the subject of attack by the Venezuelan government. There's a special place that the United States occupies in the Venezuelan imagination. And I think that's really why the United States Embassy has been singled out. I'm quite confident the U.S. government has done absolutely nothing to merit the treatment that it's receiving from the Venezuelan government. But we ourselves have not been, we haven't been singled out in that way. We do get criticized. Virtually every embassy that speaks out on issues of human rights does get criticized at some point, and so we have been criticized. They haven't gone that extra level of trying to reduce the size of the embassy. Just a tough question, though. We do stand with our American allies in upholding what we consider international norms.
Ms. Blanco, do you want to come on?
Have you been invited to other international schools interactions to talk about bullying or other subjects?
No, this is actually the first time, so I was really pleased to be invited by that. Come back and see it.
Ms. Blanco, do you have anything to add?
Not much, but yeah, well, morning. It's just, I think it's important the emphasis that's being made that sometimes when we think about bullying, we're always thinking about the physical part. So let's remember these last words that said about emotional bullying or psychological bullying. Goes on a lot. Okay, so think about certain things. When we were talking about primary school, we were saying about how other people felt when you make jokes about it. Sometimes it seems funny to say something, but if we stop and think how we would feel if that was said to us, that could be like a rule of thumb. Like, would I like that joke to be made of me? That's your rule of thumb. Like, if you think, nah, I would like to hear that about me, then maybe it's better to keep that thought to yourself. It might sound funny when you say it, but not when you say it about it. So if the person is laughing with you, basically you will be laughing at them. So that's not funny, that order is bothering, and if it continues as we were saying, if it's pervasive, if it goes on, then if we talk about that word, we don't want to say act.
I might just add something, if I may, on cyberbullying. Giselle mentioned, I'm sorry to hear about the teen that was bullied to death. And we've had 2 or 3 cases of that in Canada as well. And I think this is a context where it's even more important, the message that I had, that those of you that are passive observers have a role to play. Because when you're looking at a Facebook page and you see comments below, and bullying is happening in those comments, right? When someone calls someone a name. If you're on that same page or in that same group, what you could do would be to enter a comment saying you don't agree and that person shouldn't be bullying. Not just to let it happen passively, to step forward and say no, bullying has to stop, whether it's online or in person.
I think that's it, guys. So back to Leslie. Let's lead from the front. Year 7s, off we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.